Hey y'all, it's Kelly from Dixie Darlins, and I've got another tutorial for y'all today using the Dixie Darlins Artist Foil and Glitter Tape. Today I found this template that reminded me so much of a quilt. And in a past life, I've done a few quilt tops, love some quilts. And so I found this pattern and I thought it perfectly mimicked some of the old style quilts. And then I found a couple of foils that I wanted to use. And then I was dying to try the gold foil dust from Southern Belle Glitter. I'm going to put it over this beautiful turquoise teal island time foil and you will see the magic happen. I'm also going to use some Hello Dolly. So it's kind of a basic template, but I wanted you guys to see the different colors of the foil dust along with the foils used on these Artist Foil and Glitter Tape sheets from Southern Belle Glitter that are Dixie Darlins. They're exclusively available right now. I will link everything that I use in the description box below, so make sure you check out those links and hop on over to the Dixie Darlins Tumblers Facebook group. That's where I go live on Sunday nights to interact with you guys, to see what it is I can do to help y'all. So, and if you're enjoying my tutorials, please subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss my future tutorials. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy it. Hey y'all, so I'm starting with a 20-ounce skinny straight again from Craft Haven. Sorry if y'all are tired of seeing this size and shape, but it definitely is my favorite, especially with doing these templates. They just make it so easy. I know the exact size, the width, and it's just my favorite cup to drink out of, I think. So that's probably why I'm drawn to them. But I've just sanded the cup and I've wiped it down with some 99% rubbing alcohol. And I've cut my template out. Again, I use the Cricut Air Explorer, and I cut the template out for this 20-ounce skinny straight from Craft Haven in 9.31 by 8 inches in height. And I just kind of showing you guys how I like to line mine up. So I just lay my cup down, and then I make sure this template has some lines that are going from one side to the other. So I want to make sure that the seam is going to be, if the edge is going to be seamless here. So I just kind of move it around, and then I like to use my oven mitt. I'm sure y'all know this by now if you've watched my tutorials before. It just keeps the cup from moving around, and when I first started making cups several years ago, it was what I had handy and it worked, and so I've kind of just stuck with it, y'all. So I'm just going to trim the edge off here. I know that the cup hasn't moved since I've placed it on my oven mitt, and I'm just going to press this right down on the cup here. And usually there's no issues. I do double check myself just to make sure that it's square on the cup here. And you can see I've left a little rim around the top here just so it's not flush with the edge. I've started leaving a little bit of space here, even though I'm going to sand it. I would rather not have to sand that double sided adhesive here. And I am using, of course, the Dixie Darlins Artist Foil and Glitter Tape that is exclusively available at Southern Belle Glitter. And y'all, I tried using the little squeegee here. I love using this for various things, but I tried doing it this way because I've seen other people do it with their squeegee, and I know that you guys have this on hand. So I always try to just do different things that I've seen other people do, or things that I think that might help y'all, but it just didn't work for me, y'all. I guess I've just vinyl wrapped so many cups and I've done so many of these templates. It just, for me, with, you know, it's just like a muscle memory thing, I think. But I tried. So you definitely can use that. I just found for getting the bottom smooth and not having any bubbles in it, I just went back to the old-fashioned way that I always do, where I hold one side down with my thumb and I kind of just run my thumb along. And I'm basically taking the backing off of my Artist Foil and Glitter Tape at the same time that I'm pressing it down. So I'm never going to remove the whole backing off of it. For me, it doesn't work. I have a big sticky mess. It's kind of just how I vinyl wrap my cups. I'm doing the exact same thing with this Artist Foil and Glitter Tape. I think I'm going to start calling it the Dixie Darlins tape because there's just a lot of words for me to get out of my mouth some days, y'all. So, but you can see my seams did line up, you know, perfectly here, just because I had matched them up and then laid them on, you know, anything that can hold. I've tried the cup holders you know, that are done with the PVC, and they just didn't lay at the right angle. I like my cup being more flat on, you know, against so a surface when I'm doing it. So I'm going to use Hey Dolly, which is one of my favorites. Y'all seen me use this foil a million times. I thought I needed it in my quilt pattern here. And then I actually was FaceTiming with Cindy from Southern Belle Glitter, and she's like, well, why don't you throw a little turquoise in there and I'll kind of spice it up to the Southwest feel. So I was like, good idea. And then we tried it with the gold foil dust on it, and it was gorgeous. So I knew this was going to be a combination that I wanted to go with. So I'm going to just do all my stars with the Hey Dolly. I am going to speed this up a little bit, but I'm leaving more of it in here this time for y'all, just so you can kind of see the process as I go through it. I'm going to use my Hey Dolly first, and I kind of did this just because I was figuring out the pattern. Usually I'll try to start with my darkest foil, but because I wasn't really sure how I was going to do this pattern yet, I just started kind of with the center and worked my way out, if that makes sense. So I'm sure it does to a lot of y'all, but I try to explain sometimes in my tutorials what goes on in my brain. So if it helps anybody in the process, or if you're trying to figure out your own patterns. So I know that y'all have seen me do this now, and I'm going to use this foil dust again today, but these are more like for inspiration, and I really am trying to verbalize just kind of what my thought process is here. So this, y'all know I love options, and I love silver and gold mixed together. So I think that's probably why I'm so drawn to Hey Dolly. And I wanted to use Hudson and Miley are these foil dust. So I got a lot of questions after I used them before. I'm actually going to use the silver Miley. These are foil dust that are available at Southern Belle Glitter. And I just kind of dip my finger down in there with a glove on, and then just kind of dab them over the foils. So these fill in the foils. I talked about these yesterday. Josie, that has Inspired by Josie, she has a big TikTok following. She is actually the one that I heard about these through. And Cindy was like, okay, I have to carry these at Southern Belle Glitter. And she sent them to me. I tried them. Y'all, look at the holographic. Like, it just fills in all those little places when you want a distressed look, but you still want a little, you know, a little glow to it. These are the perfect things to add in on these. And then also, I will tell you, I think I said this in my tutorial yesterday, but I'll repeat it for those who haven't seen it. A lot of times people think that the foils repel epoxy. People have issues with fish eyes, and that's actually not the case. It's usually the adhesive that repels the epoxy. So, and it's where you put these foils on there and they create this distressed look, and so there's little areas in there that aren't being really filled in when you go to epoxy them. So I had previously been coating my cups before I epoxied them with Counterculture's Quick Coat, which is like a urethane sealer, which was preventing the fish eyes, because I'd had it happen to me. But y'all, this actually works too. So it fills in all those little places where, and I will tell you that where y'all seen me use this dotting tool before to make sure that I get my foils down right along the edge of where my template is, these fill in those holes, so no need to take a little dotting tool. Just rub them on there, and whatever doesn't get on there, you don't have to take your little fine, precise tool. Now you can just throw some of these foil dust on there. So then I take a paper towel and I put a little rubbing alcohol on it. It pulls it off the top of these templates. So I've had people say that they would rather use a paintbrush. I don't have a luck with a paintbrush and these foil dust. I found that if I just take lightly a paper towel, put a little bit of rubbing alcohol on it, and then just brush it off. But quickly, I don't really rub it over the foils. I try to rub it more over the, you know, kind of the template that's still on there. But it seems to get it off better for me. So that's just my own personal experience. So now I'm going to go in around the stars here, and I'm going to leave this in again too. And I'm just going to let y'all watch it because it's just kind of my process of how I go about, you know, start to finish with choosing what foil colors and how I'm going to do them in order. I'm actually going to use this beautiful teal color here that we thought might turn it into like a little Southwest color theme here, and it's called Island Time, and it's so pretty. Now, it's going to be one of those foils that could give you a little more distressed look. You can definitely get the coverage with it with these artist foil and glitter tape sheets. It does really well, but it can definitely give you a more distressed look. So if you're not using these sheets or you're using adhesive, like a brush on adhesive, it's going to have a tendency, this one, to give you a more distressed look. So we actually were playing around with this, and Cindy was like, oh, let me try the gold on this. And I was like, oh, that is really pretty. So again, it's kind of bringing the silver and gold in together. I knew I wanted to use both of those colored foil dust on here. I just like the silver gold mix. That's just my own preference. There's really no rhyme or reason to it, I guess. I'm just kind of that way in general. My jewelry, a lot of it I wear is silver and gold. I like mixing the metals. I like mixing the colors. And again, it's probably just my preference here on foils as well. But I knew the Hey Dolly would bring in both the silver and the gold. So I'm just going to let this play and y'all see kind of how I work through it. I do use the dust after every foil color. So my reason for doing that is, quickly I'll tell y'all, I feel like I'm talking a lot in these tutorials this week, but I'm trying to provide as much info as I can that might be helpful to somebody. But the reason I do that is because if you don't, let's say that I had not put the silver foil dust that's Miley in on the Hey Dolly foils, then when I went to put this Island Time, the turquoise on here, all those little areas that weren't filled in will fill in with the turquoise foil here with this Island Time, and that's not what I want. I want it to be filled in. So I have just found that the way I like it to go is to do the foil, then add the foil dust. Because if not, I don't want this turquoise, I don't want that covering up or getting into my Hey Dolly, if that makes sense. Some of them will do that and some of them won't. So now I'm going to use Hudson, and it's the gold, and it is so pretty against this Island Time, y'all. I fell in love with it. I have good lighting in here, y'all, and it still is so hard to show y'all. But in person, it's so pretty. I tried getting it right up against the light where it wasn't super shiny, but you could still see it. But you see, it just fills in all those little places. It's just kind of the perfect little filler. And then I personally, you'll see me towards the end, liked the outline being in this holographic foil dust as well, because I'm actually going to go in with the opposite color that I've used. So it creates like almost a halo effect that is like silver and gold around each or on the outline of each one of them. So you'll see what I'm talking about in a few minutes. But I do speed this up, but I did just want you guys to see the process of how I'm doing it. I literally am just touching my finger down in there. It does not take very much of this to truly fill in all those little places, but it just covers up that adhesive. So it works so good, and it's just the perfect little sparkle. So right now at Southern Belle Glitter, she does have this Hudson that's gold, Miley that's the silver. There's a charcoal kind of gunmetal that is not holographic, that's Betty, and then there's Marilyn that's a white that is also not holographic, but she's got a lot more colors coming, y'all, so stay tuned for those. So I'm just going to let you guys watch most of this now and quit talking, but I am going in now with my third color. That's the blue Cheetah, also a foil from Southern Belle Glitter. I will link all the products that I use and the colors in the description box below, as well as the template. So a lot of you guys ask me about the template. Sometimes for whatever reasons, that's one of the things I forget, but if y'all ask me, I'll always tell y'all where I get everything. So just to let y'all know, they should be linked in the description box below. And then my last color I'm going to use is this really pretty holographic blue. It's called Ice Queen. Love this color. It is such a sparkly color. You guys probably saw me do it on the foiled beach tumbler that I did, where I did it in all foils with the template. I used this color as well there. It's just so pretty. It's the perfect little sparkle. There's a rose gold version of it too, that's Drama Queen, that I'm also currently obsessed with. So I did these, and then you're going to see me go in with the Miley again. Just because this has more of a silver shift to it, I decided to go with the Ice Queen on that. Then after I filled in that area, I'm going to go in and I'm going to take the outline out here. And then, so this is what I was saying, is that where I had used the silver, like on the blue ice and the Hey Dolly, I'm actually going to go back around those areas and I'm going to use gold. So it's actually around each turquoise and leopard. So you can see that I'm going to use the silver where I used the gold before, and I'm going to use the gold where I used the silver. So if that makes sense. So after I do that, I'm going to wipe it off one more time. And I'm just going to kind of let this play so you guys can see this. And I'm going to wipe it off, and then I'm going to go in for a layer of epoxy. So now I'm just going to go right in. I don't seal this. I'm not going to coat it with anything. I'm going to go in with 15 milliliters of Counterculture's medium viscosity artist resin, and I'm going to apply this coat, and I'm going to let it dry. After I use my torch to pop any bubbles, I let this coat dry for about 6 to 8 hours, and then I'm going to go in with a second coat of epoxy. I'm going to let it dry long enough where I can sand the top rim and around the bottom. And I'm going to show y'all a little trick in a later tutorial that I do to finish off the bottom of this one. So stay tuned for that. But you definitely don't have to do anything to the bottom of this one. I just ended up adding a little foil dust to the bottom. But I definitely didn't have to. But stay tuned I've got some ideas for the bottoms of these with the templates. So, but you definitely can just apply this coat of epoxy. You can put your decal on it after this. And then do another layer of epoxy. I did not want to disturb the pattern here. I just loved it so much that I didn't want to put a decal over it. I had a really hard time with that. So, but anyway, you guys can definitely add a decal or your name or whatever. But I love how this one turned out. I think it's such a fun take. And stay tuned because I've got a lot of transfers that are coming too. And some other exciting things that will go along with this Southwest theme design. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please hit the bell button and subscribe so you won't miss my future tutorials. Thank y'all so much for being here, and I'll see y'all again soon.